Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. So in this video I want to be talking about the prayer system, what it is, how you can use it to get your gear sets and start doing some beautiful damage, because I think a lot of people are stuck with their 3 set and their 4 sets. The game kind of knows you need them, so they kind of like hide it from you. So yeah, I hope I'll be able to explain how to use this system and give you a little bit of tips on which pieces you want to be going for at the end, right? So it's not a free system, it does have some gold investment into it, but I'll explain that to you and why you actually want to be using these prayer systems, right? Prayer system is basically the second PT system on your Abyss Purgatory. So everyone knows about the orb that you fill up and you get an epic set. Yeah, everyone knows about that one. And then you have the one on the top right here, the prayer system. So the prayer system is a way of you to guarantee yourself any particular piece that you are looking for, right? You're going to be investing a little bit of some gold, not a little bit, actually it can be expensive, but you're going to be investing gold to get your armor pieces, right? So before I get into all of this, let me talk about the currency you're going to be using. So the Abyss Decerium currency is what you're going to be using to feed into your prayer and then use that to guarantee the set pieces. So the easiest way to get the Decerium is by the NPC, the Void Realm NPC. If you don't know how to get to that NPC, just click on your challenge and then go over to Void Realm here and then click the entrance, and that will teleport you over here and you will find the NPC Shadow Jam over here. Shadow Jam has a void store where you can buy 100 Deceriums per day for 80,000 each. So 100 Deceriums is basically 8 million, which you're probably going to be needing that many. So now I will explain about the cost eventually, but it's 100 per day. So you want to keep that in mind. It's the easiest place to get it. You can look for some in the trading post, but you're not really going to find any. These things no one really sells this. You can't really find them here, but if you do, yeah, you can grab them. But yeah, you're not really going to get them. Another place to get this is if you have alts and they have been dropping epic gears that you're not needing anymore. Even on your main, when you start dropping your epic gears that you do not need, you want to dismantle those epic gears, and the epic gears are going to give you 1 Decerium per epic gear that you dismantle, right? Plus like some other clashes and stuff. So these are the places you can get the Decerium from. Now that you know where to get the Deceriums, let's go back to the prayer. And I'm gonna give you a few tips and things I know about this system. Once you choose a piece to set here as your target, as your prayer target, let's say you are choosing a weapon before, right? And then you wanna change your mind, do not worry, you can just unequip that and then choose a second weapon. You don't really lose anything, right? One thing you'll notice though is, for example, let me unequip this. I had this before. You'll notice I have a prayer guarantee progress. Right? I will explain that later, but you'll notice that this progress does not carry over to a different piece. For example, if I go for a second weapon, that weapon will now be at 0 progress. But I have not lost my progress on the initial one. So each is counted separately. So this one is tied to this. So even if I change this target, I do not lose the progress on that piece of gear. Right, so keep that in mind, you do not lose that. But when you swap targets, you're going to start again from 0. Another thing to note, when you drop, let's say you have this weapon as your prayer target, you do your Abyss of Purgatories, you drop an epic gear, but you drop maybe the gloves or the quill, you're going to get the message that the prayer has failed. You are not going to lose any of the Deceriums. The Deceriums will remain until you actually get the drop, and then that's when it's going to be consumed. Now let me explain this chance, because this chance can be very confusing to a lot of people. For the weapon, you can invest up to 200 Deceriums, right? You'll see there's a different amount here. If I'm going for a armor piece, I cannot go higher than 100. This will only take 100 out of 100. Even if I wanted to add more, it's not going to let me, so that's 100. When it comes to accessories as well, that is the same. Let me unequip this. If we put like a talisman in there, a talisman will also be 100. So everything is 100 except your weapon, which will need 200 Deceriums to max it out. However, if you look at the guarantee progress, the accessory only requires 1,000, And then let's go back to the weapon. The weapon will require 2,000. Let me add it here, 2,000. And if we go to an armor piece, you'll notice it's even lower. An armor piece requires 500. We will go back to that in a bit. I don't want to like rush you guys. I don't want to confuse you guys. With the weapon one, you will see since I have invested 100 Desiriums, the chance is increased 20 times, right? 20 times. It may sound a lot, but it actually isn't. In order to understand how rare these things are, we're going to go over to the table. I'm going to take you out to the table here. So on the prayer, there's like the rules and everything. So let's check out the first rule here. They say, in Abyssal Purgatory, the chance of obtaining the epic gear per clear is 3%, with a guaranteed epic item for every 15 clears. This is the first PT that everyone knows, with the yellow circle that fills up, and then you get the epic gear, right? However, don't be misled by this 3%. If the base drop rate is 3% and you increase it by 20 times, shouldn't it mean that you're going to get the weapon like 60% of the time? No. That's not what they mean. In order to understand what this thing, you have to read the entire document. So the 3% is a base chance of dropping everything in this like loot table. Warlock and all classes included is a huge loot table. To understand that, I'm going to take you down all the way to the loot table down here. So this is the loot table. Now, the 3% chance drop rate is for this loot table to take into effect. I hope you guys have understood until that point. You have a 3% chance of this loot table activation and getting an epic drop. The moment the epic drop is dropped, or the 3%, now you have to roll multiple calculations here. So let's talk only about the weapon so that you don't get confused. Let's talk only about the weapon row over here. Now, there is 22 total weapons in that loot table, the epic weapons, 22 of them. Out of the 22 of them, it is a 6% chance. The moment that 3% chance at the start happens, there is a 6% chance of getting a weapon. 6% chance. In that 6% chance, if you roll that 6% chance, you have a 0.29% chance of getting your personal weapon. 0.29% chance. I hope you have understood until that point. Okay? So you have to roll the lottery 3 times. 3% chance of getting an epic, and then 6% chance of getting a weapon, and then 0.2% chance, 0.3 basically, of that weapon being for your class, because it's a total of 22 in that loot table. To make it even more crazy, this applies to every piece. Helmet, there's 11 helmets, there's a 7.8% chance of getting a helmet, and then a 0.7% chance of that helmet being for your class, because the individual rate of your particular helmet will be 0.72. The individual rate of your particular weapon will be 0.32. Let me just say 0.3, right? Let's round it off. So the 0.3 chance of getting your weapon. I hope I have not confused anyone up to that point. I really hope so. Now let's talk about what the prayer does. Let's talk about what the prayer does. The prayer increases the individual rate, right, to get it into the max. So this is the max possible rate you can get for a weapon. So if I max out my Desirium 200 out of 200, the maximum chance I can get of getting the drop with the raw drop is 11.76%. That is what the prayer will do for me. However, there is a PT system. So the PT system says, if I max out my Desiriums to 200, right, within 10 tries, within 10 attempts, you should see max attempts. So max attempt means every time you drop an epic piece, it's going to be counted as an attempt. So you can even be lucky and drop 2 or 3 epics that day, and it doesn't have to be the weapon. It can be anything, a bracelet, a helmet, a breastplate, or whatever. That is going to count as an attempt. So for every epic you get, is counted as 1 attempt. So when you hit 10 attempts without getting the weapon, you are guaranteed to get your weapon the next time, because it's now a guaranteed getting it. It's 100% chance now to get it at that point. Because this is what this table means, and that applies for every piece of your armor sets and epic ceiling. And then you'll notice for your weapon, the max attempts is 10, but you need to get 2000 PT. 2000 PT is this here. You see the number here? 2000, right? So if you have 100, every time I get a PT, I will get 100 here. So it would be 402 of 2000. If I max out this to be 200 out of 200, and then I get an epic, instead of being 402, it will be 502. Because you're just multiplying how much Deceriums you have here. Every time you get an epic, add this Deceriums here into this number until it hits 2000. The moment it hits 2000, you're guaranteed to get your weapon. So the more you have in terms of Deceriums here, the more you invest here, the faster you're gonna fill up your PT. That's basically what that means. For helmet and stuff, it's gonna be even faster because the PT count is only 500, and you only get it with 5 attempts. Fill it out to 100. You cannot get to 200 because you can see the max input. Max input is the amount of Deceriums that you can invest here. You can see for weapons 200, for armors is 100, right? I hope I haven't like confused. I feel like I'm rambling a little bit. I hope that is very clear. So yeah, that's what this table means. Now, with all that rambling out of the way, I feel like I've confused probably a few people. With that rambling out of the way, why would you want to choose or use the prayer system? Now, this comes into effect when you look at the craft. So, when you are about to craft this, let me go to the weapon, because this is the most absurd one. Everyone is looking for the BIS weapon. The BIS weapon needs like 2,000 shards. 2,000 shards to craft it, plus 3 million gold, right? By the time you are acquiring this amount of shards, to be honest, you will have gotten it through the prayer system, right? So the thing is this: do you want to wait that long, or do you want to just come and invest some gold, right? Buy your Deceriums. It's 8 million. So basically, for weapon, you need 200 Deceriums. So that's 16 million gold, right? You do not have. It's not mandatory to use 16 million gold. You can't just use 8 million gold. However, what that means, that means you're going to get your weapon in 20 days instead of 10 days. That is what it means. If you have 200 out of 200, you will fill out the 2,000 in 10 days. If you have just 100 of 200, you're going to fill it out in 20 days. So I'll be increasing mine to 200, of course, because I use ALS, and you can like send over your gold. And you can actually use the bound gold. You don't even have to use the unbound gold that you can trade with other players. You can use the bound gold to do this if that's a thing you want, if that's a path you want to go for. But if you are very patient, you can just craft your weapon. It's very expensive. I wouldn't recommend crafting your weapon using these shards. And another reason for why is you need these shards for like even getting your accessories. It requires 1,000 shards. Your armors are very cheap. It's like 500 shards for one armor piece. I would actually recommend, if you have one armor remaining to finish your set, just craft it using your 500 shards. It's better, to be honest. I wouldn't lie. Then the remaining shards, you wanna now work on your accessory, because accessories are super important. You get like a whole new set effect the moment you start upgrading them. A whole new set effect. So it's really nice if you can get the accessories out of the way. The weapon, you wanna prioritize the weapon using the prayer system. Getting it through the crafting. I don't think. I would say it is not worth it. Maybe some would make a case for it, but for me, I would say it is actually not worth it. The 3 million, just invest it on the prayer system. This 3 million, invest it on the prayer system. Farm up a cup of gold every day. Just keep buying some Decerium and investing it in your in the prayer system to guarantee yourself a weapon eventually. For example, for me, my weapon will come from the prayer system if I don't drop it naturally on an alt or something like that. The moment I drop this on an alt, I will forfeit this guarantee because I don't need it anymore. I'm just gonna forfeit this. I'm gonna just remove it here, and then I'm gonna go and take a different piece that I need, like maybe the ring, and I'm going to utilize put the ring there. I'm going to utilize the decisions. So the decisions will remain here, right? This is character bound. It is not account bound. This also comes into play with what I'm planning to do. For example, I don't need a ring, I don't need my bracelets, I don't need my necklace. What I can do is I can head over to my alt, one of my alts or two, and I can also invest some gold there because I do have some transfer stone just sitting on my storage. I can work on the bracelets on my alt and work on the weapon on my main, right? So that I can have two prayers PT progressing at the same time. I hope you guys have understood that part, because the prayer system is character bound, right? For example, let me swap to one of my alts real quick, show you. For example, on my gunner here, I will be buying some Desiriums and sending them over, and I'm going to invest it on this because I don't need my Warlock seal here. And the moment I get the seal, if it drops naturally or when I fully pit it out, I'm going to send it over to my main. I do have some transfer stone ready for that. It doesn't have to be the class you are actually playing or the character. You can choose any class and choose any gear here. So my gunner is looking for a Warlock seal. That is their work as alts. So you can use your alts to get multiple pieces at the same time. You can work on the PT at the same time on multiple characters if you have the gold, and also if you know you have the transfer stones to send them over once you actually get it. So it's something you just want to foreshadow, and you can actually start working on them at the same time and get them much faster, gear up much faster. So the prayer system is also works with the raid, right? Hexchess raid also has the prayer system. It's the exact same. It's the exact same, right? You'll see the exact same table. Exact same table. But this one, this one is expensive. This one is expensive. Now, it works with the exact same way like the Abyssal one. With the table is the same. See the base rate of getting that, and then the max input is 100 stones, like 100 bare stones. The max rate you can get is 20%. The PT count is 600, I mean, and then attempts until you get the guaranteed blueprint 6 times, right? And that is across the board. It is the same. But for things like armor pieces, you'll see it's like 4 times. The weapon will be 6 times. So weapon 6 times, armor pieces 4 times, all the way to basically all armor pieces 4 times. However, this one you're going to be needed this Hexchess Decilium, and these things are really pricey at the moment. 200 each. You're going to need 100, so that's like 20 million. 20 million if you want to max out the prayer here, because it's 100 input, and that's 100 across the board, everything. So 20 million if you want to max out your prayer. So for me, I just got one. I just put it there so that I can start my PT. Whatever happens, you never know. So I need my lower fragment. I got lucky with my upper fragment, so I just need the lower fragment. But the system is the exact same. The difference is just the currency that you're going to be needing here is the Hexchess Decilium and not the Abyssal Decilium. So yeah, guys, that is the prayer system and how it works. I hope I haven't confused you guys a lot. And if you have any questions about it, of course, write it down in the comment section below. You guys know I always answer all of the questions down there, especially when I have the time to do so. So thanks guys for watching, and subscribe. It actually helps me a lot as a content creator. And thanks guys for the live you've been showing me, and I'll see you guys on the next one.